Listen carefully, because this is not just another speech. This is a wake-up call. This is that moment where excuses stop and responsibility begins. Right now, your life is exactly where your mindset has brought it. Not your luck, not your background, not your problems. Your mindset, you wake up every day with the same thoughts, the same doubts, the same fears. And then you wonder why nothing changes. Let me tell you something straight. Nothing changes until you change. You keep waiting for the perfect time, the perfect opportunity, the perfect moment. But life doesn't work like that. Winners don't wait. Winners move even when they're scared, even when they're unsure, even when they don't have it all figured out. Your mindset is either your greatest weapon or your biggest prison. If you wake up thinking, I can't, you've already lost. If you walk into a room thinking you're not good enough, you've already made yourself small. If you keep telling yourself, maybe one day, then that one day will never come. You don't need more time. You need a stronger mindset. Look at your habits. Look at your daily routine. That's your reality speaking, because your mindset controls your actions, and your actions shape your future. You say you want success, but your mindset is comfortable. You say you want change, but your mindset is afraid. You say you want more, but your mindset is stuck. And here's the truth nobody likes to hear: comfort is the enemy of greatness. Growth doesn't feel good, change doesn't feel safe, progress doesn't feel easy. But that's the price. That's the cost of becoming someone different. You have to start thinking differently before you can live differently. Start telling yourself, I will figure it out. I will not quit. I am capable of more. Because the moment your mindset shifts, everything shifts. Opportunities start looking different. Problems start looking smaller. You stop running from challenges and start chasing them. And let me tell you something powerful. Your mind believes what you tell it repeatedly. So if you keep feeding it doubt, fear will grow. But if you feed it belief, discipline, and confidence, nothing can stop you. You don't need permission to become great. You don't need approval to chase your dreams. You don't need validation to start. What you need is a decision that from this moment on, you're not thinking small anymore, a decision that excuses are no longer part of your story, a decision that you're done living average because average is crowded. But greatness, that path is lonely, and that's why so few make it. So the question is simple: are you ready to change your mindset, or are you going to stay the same and expect different results? This is your moment, not tomorrow, not next week. Right now, change the way you think, and you will change your life. Let's get something straight right now. Your life didn't just happen to you. You built it piece by piece, thought by thought, decision by decision. The way you think has been shaping everything around you, whether you realize it or not. Every belief you hold, every doubt you repeat, every story you tell yourself, it's all creating your reality. And if you don't like where you are, then it's time to look at how you've been thinking. Most people want to blame circumstances. They point fingers at their past, their environment, their lack of resources. But the truth is, two people can face the same situation and end up in completely different places. Why? Because of mindset. One sees obstacles, the other sees opportunity. One shuts down, the other steps up. That difference right there, that's everything. If your mind is filled with fear, you will hesitate. If it's filled with doubt, you will shrink. If it's filled with excuses, you will stay stuck. And then you'll look at your life and wonder why nothing is moving forward. But what else could you expect when your own thoughts are holding you back? Here's the shift you need to make. Stop seeing your mindset as something passive. It's not just the way you think. It's a tool. It's a weapon. And right now, most people are using it against themselves. You wake up and immediately start feeding your mind negativity, thinking you're not ready, not capable, not good enough, and then you carry that energy into your actions. That's why you hesitate. That's why you quit early. That's why you settle. But imagine this, what if you flipped that switch? What if you trained your mind to look for solutions instead of problems? What if, instead of saying, I can't, you started saying, I'll figure it out? That one shift alone can change the direction of your entire life. Because once your thinking changes, your behavior follows. You start taking action. You start pushing through resistance. You start doing things you used to avoid. And over time, those actions build results, real results. The kind that changes your situation, your confidence, your future. This isn't about motivation. This is about control. You have control over what you think, and what you think controls everything else. That means you are not stuck. You are not limited. You are not defined by your past. You are defined by the thoughts you choose from this moment forward. So if you're serious about changing your life, stop looking outside. Stop waiting for something to happen. Look inward and take ownership of your mindset. Discipline your thoughts. Challenge your doubts. Replace weakness with strength. Because the moment you take control of your mind, you take control of your life. Listen, waiting is the most dangerous habit you can build. It feels harmless, it feels safe, but it's quietly destroying your progress. You keep telling yourself, I'll start when I'm ready, when things calm down, when the timing is right. But let me hit you with the truth. There is no perfect time. There never has been, and there never will be. While you're waiting, life is moving. Opportunities are passing. People with less talent, less knowledge, and fewer resources are getting ahead of you. Not because they're better, but because they took action while you stood still. That's the difference. Action. You don't need everything figured out to begin. You don't need confidence to start. Confidence is built after you take action, not before. But most people have it backwards. They sit there overthinking every step, trying to predict every outcome, trying to eliminate every risk. And by the time they're done thinking, the opportunity is gone. Overthinking is just fear in disguise. It's your mind trying to protect you from discomfort, from failure, from looking foolish. But understand this, growth does not live in comfort. If you want progress, you have to move even when you're unsure. Especially when you're unsure, the people who win are not the ones who have it all planned out. They're the ones who start messy. They take imperfect action, they fall, they adjust, they learn, and they keep going. That's how progress is made. Not by waiting, but by doing. Every second you delay is a vote for the life you don't want. Every excuse you make is reinforcing the habit of staying stuck. You say you want change, but your actions are telling a different story. Because wanting isn't enough. Talking isn't enough. Thinking about it isn't enough. Action is the only thing that creates results. And here's something powerful. Once you take that first step, something shifts. You start gaining clarity. You start building momentum. The fear that once felt so big starts to shrink. Why? Because you proved to yourself that you can move despite it. You don't need a big move. You just need a real move. One step forward, one decision, one action that breaks the cycle of waiting. That's how everything begins. Stop negotiating with yourself. Stop pushing it to tomorrow. Tomorrow is the easiest place to hide. It's where dreams go to die because they keep getting postponed. You want to change your life? Then move. Start where you are. Use what you have. Do what you can right now, because the truth is simple and unforgiving. If you don't take action, nothing changes. But the moment you do, everything becomes possible. Understand this clearly. Your life follows your thoughts. Not sometimes. Not occasionally. Every single day. What you repeatedly tell yourself becomes the script you act out. Your mind is not just thinking, it's directing your behavior. And if that script is weak, your actions will be weak. You don't wake up and suddenly fail. You think your way into it first. You start with doubt. I'm not ready. What if I mess up? What will people say? Those thoughts don't just stay in your head, they show up in your actions. You hesitate, you delay, you play small, and then you call it circumstance, when in reality it started with a single thought you chose to believe. On the other hand, strong thoughts create powerful movement. When you tell yourself, I will find a way, your brain starts looking for solutions. When you say, I don't quit, your actions align with persistence. That's how winners operate. Not because they never feel fear, but because they don't let weak thoughts control their behavior. Most people underestimate how dangerous negative thinking really is. They treat it like it's nothing, just a passing thought. But those thoughts stack up. Day after day, they build a mindset that either pushes you forward or pulls you back. And if you don't take control, your mind will default to fear, comfort, and doubt. That's its job, to keep you safe, not successful. You have to train it. Just like your body needs discipline to get stronger, your mind needs discipline to think better. You cannot allow every negative thought to take control. You have to challenge it, replace it, redirect it. Because if you don't, it will quietly shape your actions in ways you won't even notice until it's too late. Think about it. Why do some people take bold risks while others stay stuck in the same place for years? It's not ability. It's not luck. It's the conversation happening inside their heads. One person is saying, why not me? The other is saying, I'm not good enough. And those two thoughts lead to completely different lives. Your actions are a reflection of your internal dialogue. If that dialogue is filled with excuses, your actions will follow. If it's filled with belief and determination, your actions will rise to meet it. This is where responsibility comes in. You can't control everything around you, but you can control what you allow to live in your mind. You can choose what you repeat to yourself every day. And that choice determines everything that follows. So start being intentional. Catch your thoughts, listen to what you're telling yourself, and if it's weak, replace it immediately. Don't entertain it. Don't justify it. Cut it off and replace it with something stronger, because once your thoughts change, your actions change. And once your actions change, your entire life starts moving in a different direction. Let's get real. Comfort feels good, but it's quietly destroying your potential. It gives you a sense of safety, a sense of control, but at the same time, it keeps you exactly where you are. No growth, no progress, no transformation. Just the same routine, the same results, the same life. You say you want more, but your actions say you want comfort. And those two things cannot exist together for long. Because the moment you choose comfort, you choose to stay the same. Growth is not designed to feel easy. It's not supposed to be smooth or predictable. Growth stretches you. It challenges you. It forces you into situations where you feel unsure, exposed, and even afraid. That's not a sign you're failing. That's proof you're moving forward. But most people run from that feeling. The moment things get uncomfortable, they step back. They go back to what's familiar, back to what's easy. And then they wonder why nothing changes. Here's the truth. Everything you want is on the other side of discomfort. That opportunity you're scared to chase, that risk you're afraid to take, that effort you're avoiding, that's where the growth is. That's where the next version of you is waiting. But you'll never reach it if you keep choosing what feels safe. Comfort is a trap because it doesn't look like a problem. It looks like peace. It looks like stability. But over time, it turns into stagnation. Days turn into months, months turn into years, and suddenly you realize you're in the same place with the same mindset, wishing things were different. You don't get stronger by staying where it's easy. You don't build confidence by avoiding challenges. You don't create a better life by repeating the same comfortable habits. You have to lean into discomfort. That means doing things even when you don't feel ready. It means pushing yourself when your mind tells you to stop. It means stepping into rooms where you feel out of place, taking risks where there's no guarantee, and showing up even when it's hard. Because every time you choose discomfort, you expand, you grow. You prove to yourself that you're capable of more than you thought. And here's the powerful part. What feels uncomfortable today becomes your new normal tomorrow. The things that once scared you become easy. The challenges that once felt impossible become routine. That's how growth works. But it only happens if you're willing to go through it. Stop chasing comfort like it's the goal. It's not. Comfort is a reward, not a lifestyle. You earn it after you've pushed, after you've struggled, after you've grown. If you want a different life, you have to start making different choices. And that starts with choosing discomfort over ease, growth over safety, and progress over excuses, because in the end, comfort will keep you where you are, but discomfort will take you where you want to go. Let me break this down in a way you can't ignore. Your mind is always listening. Every word you repeat, every thought you entertain, every belief you rehearse, it's all being recorded, and over time, repetition turns those thoughts into reality. You don't believe something because it's true. You believe it because you've heard it enough times. If you keep telling yourself, "I'm not good enough," your mind accepts it as fact. If you keep saying, "I always fail," your brain starts working to prove that right. That's how powerful repetition is. It doesn't judge, it doesn't question, it just absorbs and builds. Now, here's where most people get it wrong. They allow negative thoughts to repeat without interruption. Day after day, they reinforce weakness without even realizing it. Doubt becomes normal. Fear becomes automatic. And then they wonder why their confidence is low and their actions are inconsistent. You are literally programming yourself every single day. And if you don't take control of that program, it will default to negativity. That's why you have to be intentional. That's why you have to choose what you repeat, because repetition is not just about words, it's about identity. When you consistently tell yourself, "I am disciplined," you start acting with discipline. When you repeat, "I don't quit," your actions begin to align with persistence. When you say, "I will find a way," your brain shifts from excuses to solutions. It doesn't happen once. It happens through consistency. You can't say something positive one time and expect your whole mindset to change. That's not how it works. The same way negative thoughts were built through repetition, strong beliefs are built the same way again and again until they become automatic. Think about it like training a muscle. One workout doesn't transform your body, but repeated effort over time does. Your mind works the same way. Every strong thought you repeat is another rep. Every time you replace doubt with belief, you're getting stronger mentally, and eventually something powerful happens. Your default changes. You no longer have to force positive thinking. It becomes natural. Your mind starts to look for solutions instead of problems. You start responding with confidence instead of hesitation. That's when everything shifts, but it only happens if you stay consistent. You can't go back and forth. Strong one day, negative the next, and expect real change. You have to commit. You have to be disciplined with your thoughts, especially when it's hard, because the truth is, your mind believes what you feed it the most. So if you keep feeding it doubt, you'll live a life controlled by fear. But if you feed it belief, strength, and determination, you'll build a mindset that can handle anything. This is not motivation. This is conditioning. And the moment you take control of what you repeat, you take control of who you become. Here's the truth most people avoid. Nothing changes until you decide. Not wish, not hope, not maybe someday. A decision is different. A real decision cuts off excuses. It removes negotiation. It draws a line and says, from this moment on, I'm different. Right now, your life reflects the decisions you've made and the ones you've avoided. Every delay, every excuse, every "I'll start later" has shaped where you stand today. And if you keep operating the same way, you'll keep getting the same results. That's not bad luck. That's a lack of decision. A decision is powerful because it creates direction. Without it, you drift. You wake up reacting to life instead of leading it. You wait for motivation, and when it doesn't show up, you do nothing. But when you decide, you don't wait, you act. You move with purpose. You stop asking if you feel like it and start doing what needs to be done. Most people are scared to decide because they think it locks them in. They're afraid of failing, afraid of choosing wrong, afraid of what people might say. So they stay in the middle, no commitment, no risk, no growth. But that middle ground is the most dangerous place you can live. It feels safe, but it slowly steals your potential. You don't need a perfect plan to decide. You need courage. Courage to say, I'm done living like this. Courage to say, I'm done making excuses. Courage to say, I'm going to become more no matter how uncomfortable it gets. Because once you make that decision, something shifts inside you. Your standards rise. What you used to tolerate, you no longer accept. The habits that once controlled you start losing their power. You begin to act with intention instead of emotion. And here's what separates a real decision from a temporary feeling: commitment. Anybody can feel motivated for a day. Anybody can get excited for a moment. But a decision is proven by what you do when that feeling is gone. When it's hard, when it's inconvenient, when nobody is watching, that's when your decision becomes real. You show up anyway. You do the work anyway. You stay consistent anyway. Not because it's easy, but because you've already decided there's no other option. Stop waiting for the perfect time to change. That time doesn't exist. Life will always be busy. Problems will always show up. Conditions will never be perfect. The only thing that needs to be perfect is your decision. Right now is your opportunity. Right now is your moment to take control. Not later. Not when you feel ready. Right now, while it's uncomfortable, while it's uncertain, that's when it matters most. Because the second you decide, you take your power back, and once you truly decide, there is no going back.